Hunting can be looked at two ways. One, a cruel way to kill animals, or two, a fun sport. There are many restrictions to hunting, such as you can't hunt endangered species, and you can't hunt certain species without the right permits. The basic animals that you can hunt are deer, turkey, pheasants, and ducks. The real question is it justified? And on my side, it is not justified because it hurts populations and ecosystems. It is cruel to animals, and finally, there is no point in sport hunting. Thinking about hunting population and ecosystems as one part, when you kill a deer, it can widely affect their other species, let alone their own. When you kill deer, it can widely affect other species in food chains. The deer has one main food chain. It has the sun makes the plants grow, and the deer eat the plant, and then the wolves eat the deer. So when deers are impacted by hunting, their population goes down. And with wolves, their food is going down too, so some of them could starve and die.
William, you said that hunting affects food chains in a negative way. Well, first off, hunting only takes off a tiny fraction of the actual population, so the population number isn't affected. And also, when the deer are at a low, the wolves are always at a high. So, the wolf population will not be suffering during that time. Therefore, your argument is invalid.
A second reason that hunting is not justified is that it is cruel to animals. Think of an animal coming up to you with a gun and shooting you. How would you feel? That's how these little creatures that are helpless and defenseless feel. According to Kelly Curtin, the animal specialist, it is cruel to kill animals because they're just like us. They're living, they breathe, and they eat. How would you feel to have your life ended by the pull of a trigger?
Now, William, you say hunting is cruel. Now, why do you say that, I wonder? Maybe because we kill animals? Well, let's say you go to McDonald's and order a cheeseburger. Now, that cheeseburger is no different from the venison which I procure from the wild. The only difference is that you paid someone to do the killing, where I took the initiative to do myself. Now, is hunting so wrong because of that? Well, I don't think so. Because animals are dying every day, and they're in the food that you eat all day long.
A third reason why hunting is not justified is hunting for a sport. I'm not fully against hunting itself. Hunting for food is necessary in some cases, but for sport hunting, for the head of a deer on your wall is not justified. Going back to the animals hunting the humans, what if your head was put on a wooden plaque and hung on a wall? If your head was put on a plaque and hung on the wall, it'd be for decoration and showing, oh, I killed this. Here, look at this.
When we go hunting, William, we take the largest animal we can find mainly because it's providing us with the most meat, and we mount the head as a commemoration of that animal and the meat that it provided us with, and also a success of our venture. Now, is it so wrong to just keep a head as a commemoration of that animal while we're still eating the meat, we're getting the most use out of the animal? Is that so wrong? But there are the people who sport hunt without keeping the meat. Now, I don't agree with that, and I don't do that. That's just a personal choice. I do not agree with that.
Hunting is therefore unjustified because it hurts food chains and ecosystems. It is cruel to animals, and sport hunting is pointless and cruel.
Whether hunting is justified has been a controversial question ever since humans have no longer needed to harvest our own food. In the beginning, hunting was a necessary activity to procure your own food. But since the advent of grocery stores, it has become increasingly unnecessary. Hunting is justified because it develops family bonds, teaches the ability to survive in the outdoors, and the population control helps save the animals. One of the things hunting does is it helps develop family bonds. When I go hunting with my family, it becomes one of the many activities I do to strengthen
family relationships besides being a very fun outdoor activity that trains people to obtain their own food. Sharing this wonderful sport with others will increase your interaction with those close to you by doing one of the most natural things in the world.
Dylan, you say that hunting builds family bonds and relationships. I do agree with you that it probably does. And being with your family in the woods, talking, having fun. But is it all right for younger kids to grow up with the feeling that it's okay to kill animals and living things? We don't want kids growing up and thinking, oh, I can just go and kill that, and then it's okay.
Another thing hunting does is it teaches basic survival skills. These days, with grocery stores only a short drive down the street, it's easy to forget basic survival. You may ask, William, why these skills are necessary in a world so clouded with technology. Well, in the event of a power outage or something as simple as a camping trip, having those skills are necessary to survive in the wild. These skills, accumulated over thousands of years of evolution, are slowly deteriorating, and the art of obtaining your own food is slowly being lost. Hunting is one of the ways to reteach those skills.
Dylan, you're saying that the hunting skills and survival skills are slowly deteriorating over time because we're not hunting as much as before. Because we can easily drive down the street to the grocery store and get meat and food. Well, I think it is easier and it should be done this way because we don't want to have to go into the woods, hunt, and be out there for however many hours and only get a certain amount of food. You're not going to get a surplus of food every single time you go out hunting. And whereas Delhi, they have food coming in constantly and meat coming in constantly. So you're going to have the food that you need. Unlike going hunting, you're not going to get certain foods, but you're going to get only the limited amount that you can find.
Another thing hunting does is the population control it provides helps save the animals. When there's a surplus of deer, certain epidemics develop and spread. These diseases can cause very nasty deaths for the deer. For instance, blue tongue and EHD is a very common disease among deer. The tongue swells up and turns blue, causing them to slowly suffocate. White-tailed deer develop signs of illness about 7 days after exposure. A constant characteristic of the disease is its sudden onset. Deer initially lose their appetite and fear of man, grow progressively weaker, often salivate excessively, develop a rapid pulse and respiration rate, and a fever. Affected animals frequent bodies of water to lie in to reduce their body temperature, and finally become unconscious. Hemorrhage and lack of oxygen in the blood results in the blue appearance of the oral mucosa, hence the name blue tongue. 8 to 36 hours following the onset of observable signs, deer pass into a shock-like state and become prostrate and die. This is the description of EHD on the DNR website. These diseases are very harmful to the deer population, and only keeping the population under control will prevent their spreading. Hunting plays a key role in this.
You say that this diseases such as EHD and blue tongue spread very fast through deer, but when one dies, will they leave it behind or will they go and be like, oh, what happened here? They're just going to keep frolicking in flowers all over the place and grasses and trees in the forest.
Therefore, because it strengthens family bonds, teaches us survival skills, and prevents the spreading of disease in deer, hunting is justified.